On the morning of June 30th, 1908, a blast tore through the Siberian sky with the force of 1,000 Hiroshima bombs. At the epicenter, in the Podkamennaya Tunguska river basin, the energy released leveled roughly 80 million trees, flattening an area covering over 2,000 square kilometers. Local Evenki reindeer herders, who were miles away at the time, reported seeing the sky split entirely in two. The resulting heat wave was so intense it knocked people completely off their feet. But despite the sheer devastation occurring at ground zero, the rest of the globe remained almost entirely unaware of what had actually happened. The blast generated an atmospheric shockwave that circled the Earth twice, triggering pressure anomalies on barometers in cities thousands of kilometers away. In the days that followed, anomalous glowing night skies stretched across Europe. In London, the sky was bright enough for residents to read their newspapers at midnight. Yet no immediate scientific expedition was launched. Tsarist Russia was politically volatile and geographically indifferent to an explosion in a remote swamp. Shortly after, World War I and the subsequent Russian Revolution swept the country, draining any resources or curiosity that might have directed researchers to Siberia. As a result of this geopolitical turmoil, the most destructive cosmic event in modern human history sat untouched and undocumented for nearly 20 years. It wasn't until 1927 that Soviet mineralogist Leonid Kulik finally led an expedition to the site. He endured a grueling trek through trackless bogs, fully expecting to discover a massive iron meteorite. Instead, Kulik emerged into a landscape where millions of charred trees lay snapped like toothpicks, all pointing outward in a distinct radial pattern. At the exact calculated epicenter, Kulik found a geographic paradox. There was no massive impact crater. Instead, a cluster of scorched, branchless trees stood perfectly upright, resembling a forest of telegraph poles. This became his career's defining mystery. Extensive searches yielded zero physical evidence of an impactor. He found no crater, no iron remnants, and no fragments of any kind. The site defied traditional physics, forcing researchers to realize that an extraterrestrial threat can be vastly more complex than a rock simply hitting the dirt. The explanation lies in a phenomenon known as an airburst. When a cosmic object enters the atmosphere at high velocity, extreme friction causes it to detonate midair. This explains the ground paradox. The pressure wave blasts outward, flattening outer trees radially, while pressing straight down at the epicenter, leaving those trees upright. For decades, scientists debated the object's composition. Some argued an icy comet caused the glowing skies, while others proposed a stony asteroid that fragmented explosively. These microscopic images show the evidence discovered decades later. They reveal silicate globules and shock-metamorphosed minerals recovered from the local soil and tree resin, pointing heavily to the stony asteroid hypothesis. The mechanics of the airburst demonstrate that cosmic objects do not actually need to survive their descent to inflict catastrophic damage on the surface. In February 2013, the stony asteroid airburst theory moved from a historical hypothesis to a modern reality with the Chelyabinsk meteor event over Russia. A 20-meter asteroid exploded midair, projecting a shockwave that injured 1,500 people and shattered windows across multiple cities, all without leaving a primary impact crater. While the damage was extensive, the energy released at Chelyabinsk was only about 1,000th the power of the blast at Tunguska. Chelyabinsk took Tunguska out of the realm of isolated historical anomalies, validating it as a repeating, documented planetary threat model. Despite the modern consensus around the airburst theory, the total absence of macroscopic fragments at the Tunguska site still frustrates researchers, driving ongoing expeditions to search for physical evidence of the object. If you drop Tunguska's zone of destruction onto a modern metropolis like London or New York, the resulting blast radius levels over 800 square miles of densely populated infrastructure. Experts in near-Earth objects calculate that undetected asteroids capable of this specific level of destruction strike our planet on average every few centuries, rather than every few million years. Tunguska was a cosmic near-miss that happened to strike an empty swamp. It stands as a ticking clock for our planetary defense, counting down until our luck inevitably runs out.